What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So think about this scenario for a second. People are starting to get back to work here in the United States. Kids are heading back to school. COVID cases begin to increase and businesses start to slowly close down. Well, stores are still full of inventory, more so than they really know what to do with. Ports are overloaded with cargo. Railways are short on workers. Truckers can't handle all the demand, and then China shuts down. Think about that. It sounds scary, right? Sounds like all that stuff can't happen at once. Well, this is potentially the new reality, and we could be experiencing this very soon. Now, I talked about this here on this channel probably a little bit over a week ago, where we could see the news coming out of China. This could be devastating to the U.S. economy, and it could. And it could be happening very soon. And honestly, the U.S. economy is going to be in trouble if a lot of this stuff happens. Not everything, but a lot of the stuff happens. If we see COVID cases increase and businesses shut down, it's going to be a struggle for the ports, for railways, and for truckers. And we're going to see our supply chain really get disrupted at that point. It's already struggling. We're already on pretty much the brink of a disaster, but it could get even worse. But get this. We're already getting more and more reports saying that the ports right now here in the United States are being overworked. They're too crowded. Inventory is still coming in, and inventory is only going to increase as we get closer and closer to the holiday shopping season. But listen to this. Truckers are currently upset because they're spending too much of their time idling and not getting paid for it. And we've seen this in the past week or so, where truckers have actually protested, sat there, not even getting any money and not collecting any of the goods that are supposed to be going into their trucks because they're trying to protest, to show their support and show their unity that, hey, they need to get paid more. And honestly, and the truth is that shipping costs are going to go up because more and more truckers are going to demand fair pay for their services that they're providing. And if you ask me, they should. Because, and let me ask you this, do you think truckers should be getting paid while they're sitting at a port waiting for their load or for their truck to be unloaded? Do you think they should be getting paid? Or do you think they should just be sitting there pretty much putting in free hours just for their employer? I personally believe that truckers should be getting paid for every single second that there is a load on their truck. Whether they're idling or not, they should be getting paid. Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comment section below, because this is kind of what we're seeing. And I've talked to many truckers over the past really 6 months or so, 8 months really since the beginning of the year, where some are just getting tired of being strung along and being told that, yeah, we're going to give you a raise, don't worry about it. And yet it never comes. But again, that could just be part of the issues. If we see truckers just leave the industry in masses like many people have already started to do, well, it's only going to get worse. But let's talk about rail workers and rail yards for a second, because right now what we're hearing is that there's so many empty cargo containers. We kept getting reports that there were full cargo containers in these rail yards, and rail workers were just waiting. They weren't putting them onto trains, trying to move them across the country. Well, why would they put an empty cargo container on a train? That's the problem. And by them sitting there in the rail yards, what's happening is it's slowing down the new containers coming in, because these old ones that are empty have to be shipped out first. Again, it's slowing things down. And if we continue to see these rail yards backing up with empty cargo containers, guess what? It's just going to back up the ships that are sitting on the ports as well. And then those are backing up the new shipments that are coming in from other countries. A lot of them from China. But do you want to know the real concern that port workers have right now? It is when all these empty containers are just sitting here in the US, it's going to delay the shipments coming from China. That's the real delay. That's the real issue, the real concern. And some are saying that if we delay things coming from China, guess what? China's no COVID policy, their zero COVID policy, if this is something that they're going to continue with and stick by, and I firmly believe they will, if this is something that they do, leading into this fall and the winter months, we could see a disaster happen because we have a bunch of empty containers doing absolutely nothing. We got stuff waiting over in China ready to come over, but it needs to speed up. Again, major problems. And then let's factor in the chances of China getting another surge in cases. Again, because all these things are kind of happening. We're seeing the writing on the wall. Well, if China gets another surge in cases, and again, their zero COVID policy, what's going to happen is they're just going to completely shut down. Manufacturing is going to come to a halt. We're going to see shipping delayed until cases are gone. And this is going to cause the U.S. economy to struggle. And if this happens, according to multiple reports, the expectation is that the current recession that we are in is only going to get deeper and it's going to last longer, which usually means more layoffs, less spending, and the likelihood of credit card defaults, auto loan repossessions, and even foreclosures, it ticks up. Now, here's what you need to understand. And this is the troubling part with everything that's going on right now is there's so many different factors. But the worst part about all this is that the federal government keeps on telling the American people that everything's fine. Don't worry, nothing bad's happening. We got it all under control. And they keep saying that everything is exactly how they want it to be. Well, the truth is that even if the United States government thought that we were going to go into a deep, long-lasting recession, people were going to lose their jobs by the millions, they're not going to tell you this. They will not tell you this. No government is going to warn their people and every single person in the United States that, hey, guess what? Tough times are here. Right? We could be in a crisis very soon. You might want to, prepare, because nobody wants to create mass hysteria, especially earlier than expected. Now, this is why I continue to give you these updates. Number one, you need to know what's going on. Number two, you need to know how to move forward, because when we hit these tough times, we've done it in the past where stores shut down, and I told you guys, go get some materials, go get some food, get some water, make sure you're stocked up. I told you guys this. Many of you did, and you were glad you did. I told you guys in the beginning of the 2-year shutdown that, hey, you really need to figure out a way to improve on your skills. Doesn't matter what the skill is, improve on it, because there's going to come a time where your job may not be there. They're going to change things. That's exactly what happened. Companies changed the way they were operating. Your job maybe went away. You had to learn a new skill. And if you were learning that new skill while you're in this shutdown, potentially 2 weeks to 2 years, depending on where you worked and where you're from, well, you came out of this whole thing much better. So that's what I just want to tell you guys. The U.S. economy could be in trouble if all these things happen at once. There's a good chance they do. If all these happen at once, then you know what's going to hit the fan. That SHTF moment is going to happen. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.